Who would have thought Jake was a killer?
I thought I knew him. All that time we worked side by side, and I didn't even have an inkling of what was going on with him. Thank God this nightmare is over. I can finally begin to mourn my father.
Frank, phone call?
Thank you. Hello?
It's me, Lark. Frank, I read about Jake's confession in the paper. I think I'm in shock.
We all are.
I'm glad I'm off the hook for his death, but Frank used to be my boyfriend. I can't believe I was dating a killer.
You're so right not to get back together with him. I never should have asked you to.
Look, can I come home now? I hate it here.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
At least come see me.
Okay, I'll be over as soon as I can get off. I have to go over to the juvenile center to see Lark.
No. No, don't let her do this to you again, Frank. I mean, leave her where she can get professional help.
It's only a visit. Now, I'm going on break. I'll meet you back here later.
410 East. Dr. Sherry Carter to 410 East.
It's just so hard to believe that Jake Marshak was so disturbed. You know, if I had seen any of this coming, there may have been something I could have done to save some of those people.
He spent a lot of time and effort trying to help me when I was in the hospital. He never seemed to me at all unstable. I guess you never can tell.
We found a full confession in his apartment last night.
Who? Who? There's not a single word of apology to you for all of the horrible things, the scandal sheet printed about you when the murder started?
Why should they print an apology? They never said I was the killer. They said I was a suspect. They were right.
But there are a lot of nincompoops out there who believe this newspaper's nasty innuendo.
Yes, many nincompoops believed I was a murderer. My own father even suspected me.
I beg your pardon. People in glass houses, young man. You thought I was the killer when you saw that blood on my shirt.
And I apologize for ever doubting you.
Well, I hope you can forgive me for my suspicions as well.
You're forgiven.
You've stood tall throughout this whole ordeal. I'm proud of you, Monk.
Well, it certainly is nice to see the two of you putting all those accusations behind you.
Thank you. Now it's your turn.
For what?
It's time for you to make amends to Eve.
I don't think so. I mean, Eve turned out not to be the murderer, but she's still a big phony.
Well, phony or not, she didn't deserve this.
One of those now exonerated in the lurid killing spree is Dr. Eve Lambert, who formerly worked for Enchanted Escorts, Incorporated.
Code yellow. 612.
How can they do this?
Code yellow.
How can the newspaper just print something like that without warning me first, or even asking me for a comment?
Because they know if it's true, there's nothing you can do about it.
What am I supposed to do with my career now? How am I supposed to establish a decent practice?
Come on, Eve. This'll blow over.
Who wants an ex-hooker as a doctor? I might as well just pack up my bags and leave town.
I was just watching my half-hour of cartoons, and the news guy came on and said Jake's dead, and he killed people. But he's our friend. He wouldn't do that. Would he?
Come over here for a second. You know, you're right. Jake, he was our friend, but, you know, something happened to him.
Like what?
He got another kind of a sickness up in his head. And so that affected him where he just was acting kind of not right. See, because if somebody was in their right mind, they would never hurt themselves or hurt anybody. You get it?
Uh-huh. The reporter said that you used to be a cowgirl. What's that?
Well, you know what? You know, sometimes there's guys that are, you know, they can't get dates. And so let's say they got to go to a dance, and they got to show up with a date. So you know what they do? They pick up the phone, and they call this service where girls will be their dates. They just have to pay them a couple of bucks, you know, and then they get a date, and then they show up, and they got a girl on their arm, and that's what a call girl thing is.
Oh, do you have to pay Eve to go out with her?
Oh no, you see, Eve and I, we like each other. We have a good time together. Some time ago, Eve was doing that, you know, to make some money, just when she was younger, you know, so she quit that, and she became a doctor, and she's been working hard at being a doctor, and that's what she does now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now she makes her money as a doctor.
She does, and she's a good doctor, and she's a very good person.
Yes, she is, Daddy.
Doc, you gotta stop badgering me about apologizing to Eve because I don't owe her anything. I did not leak to the press that she used to be a hooker.
Maybe not directly, but it's because of your digging around in her past that all of this came out.
I didn't create her past. I didn't force her to turn tricks.
She never did anything that deserves being publicly humiliated. Now, you either apologize to her or you're not the woman I believe you to be.
Hello.
Yeah. What did you open up your big, fat, flapping mouth about Eve being a hooker? Do you have any idea what that's like to explain to a kid?
Wait just a minute. Don't you put that off on me. I did not leak that to the press. You know, probably somebody at the police department did.
Yeah, but you're the one that sang like a canary to the cops, Lucy.
Scott Bowen, I was just telling the truth. I was trying to help, and I didn't lie. She was a call girl.
I want you to fix this. I'm telling you, I'm going to fix you.
You and Kevin are impossible.
You have to make this right, Lucy.
All right. I will apologize for whatever itsy-bitsy little crime I may have committed, if that's what you really, really want.
It's not what I want, Lucy. It's what you owe Eve. Now, goodbye.
Sounds like Scott and I agree for a change.
Oh, I love my job, I love my patients, and I especially love being the Quartermain resident.
Well, I'm so glad somebody's happy. Being the laughingstock isn't what your mama promised it would be.
So your past profession came back to bite you in the butt. And look on the bright side. All those male patients are going to be flocking to your door. Maybe even a few curious women.
You know what, Chris? Stop, all right? I don't want any curiosity seekers. If people are going to be showing up at my door, I want it to be because of my medical skills, not because of my feminine wiles.
I don't know. Come on, when you got it, flaunt it.
I did what I did to help my sister.
Is that what you want the world to know?
Yes, it is. No, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I did what I did for my reasons. They were my business.
Trust me. This will pass.
You think?
Hey, Dr. Lambert. How much?
Excuse me?
You know what he means.
Hey, why don't you go change a bedpan somewhere?
No, Chris, it's all right. I'm actually very interested to hear what these two have to say.
I wanted to know how much. For a hoagie in the cafeteria.
What do you think he wanted?
I thought that he wanted to know how much it would cost for a brain transplant, seeing as the two of you are in such desperate need of one. Now, if I were you, I would get back to work. I'm sure there's puke or something somewhere that needs to be cleaned up.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not kidding myself, Chris.
Fritz Curtis, 55.
No matter what I do as a doctor, people will always think of me as nothing but a hooker.
Frank, I am so glad to see you. You have to get me out of here.
You ran away from my home twice. There's no way they're going to let you out.
Look, I promise not to leave this time. You know I can get better. Please.
Sit down.
wasn't just you. I don't know if I'm the right foster parent for you. Now, hopefully next time you'll wind up at a home that's a better fit. You know, maybe a more traditional family structure would work for you.
Your house is my home. Look, I know you're mad at me because I threatened to tell Joe you were using the DL-56. But if you take me back, I promise I will keep my mouth shut.
Lark, the discussion is over.
You leave me here, and I swear I will tell everybody you are taking that drug.
You have cried wolf too many times, kid. If it comes down to a credibility contest, we both know who will win, so don't threaten.
Please, Frank.
I'll consider it. But you remember this. If I get you out of here, you are going to own me. I want you to honor your promise to Lark.
What promise?
The one you made after she tried to kill herself. You gave your word you wouldn't let her wind up in a juvenile facility, and that's exactly where she is.
Well, have you spoken to her caseworker?
He wouldn't release her to me.
Well, you know, I mean, after Julie sold her down the river there, she doesn't want her in the house. Do you think it's the right environment?
I am not here for a parenting lecture. Are you a man of your word or not?
So how can we help?
Jake left something for you in his apartment.
What was it?
A letter. That's a photocopy. We're holding on to the original as evidence. Well, don't you want to read it?
I'm afraid of what's in this letter.
Why is that?
Because Jake and I were lab partners, and I'm the one that saw that he wasn't himself lately. He was short-tempered, aggressive, but I didn't do anything about it because I didn't know how deeply he was disturbed.
What did you two disagree about?
I wanted to abandon the research, and Jake was committed.
Karen, I really think you should read that letter. I might answer some questions for you. I'll be in touch.
Dr. Ted Ray, 4456.
It says that he got so mixed up in the DL-56 experiment, he lost sight of who he was. When Devlin stole our research on DL-56, I tried to be patient and concentrate on our own work. And that day in his lab, he rubbed my nose in it. He said he was going to sue to stop us from going forward with our research. I felt like someone was telling me my life was over. I picked up the first thing I saw. I wasn't consciously trying to kill him. I just wanted to shut him up. I killed Grace because on the day of the circus, she found out what I'd done to Devlin. Her death is my greatest regret. I am so sorry. I hope my own death will, in some measure, atone for what I've done. How could Jake have lost his way like this?
Maybe Danielle's death affected him more than we thought. Or maybe there was something else going on, Karen.
Joe, there were always samples missing of DL-56 from our lab. Do you think that Jake was taking them? That he was injecting himself with DL-56? I mean, it causes aggression. Maybe that's what turned him into a killer.
Dr. Robin Phillips to expect
Eve, could I speak to you in private?
I have nothing to say to you, Lucy.
I was just leaving. Hitting below the belt in this case is perfectly legal.
I would like to let bygones be bygones.
You want to just forget about everything that's happened?
Well, it is hard after all you did, but we did things to each other, I admit.
I didn't do anything to you.
You didn't do anything to me, so now you're going to play innocent. Okay, let me see. What did you do? You altered my dresses, so I thought I was strangling. And you actually locked me in my own wardrobe closet at the nurse's ball. That was cruel. And then what was the goofy green purplish gas that came out to try to poison
Lucy,
me?
those were pranks. That is nothing compared to the way you went after me.
All I did was go after the facts.
You want some facts? I'll give you some facts. I posed as a model and flirted with that idiot Rex Stanton to help you get him.
Big deal. I had to marry the creep.
Okay, I nearly got myself killed posing as Danielle to save Serena from Rex. I worked my butt off trying to find an antidote for you when you were poisoned.
All right. All right. Here goes. I apologize for telling Scott the truth about you being Hooker. Satisfied?
Satisfied with that half-baked apology? Why are you here, Lucy? Why are you really here? Because it's certainly not to own up to what you did. Did Kevin force you to come here? Is that it? Was it Scott? You are the most self-centered, poor excuse for a human being I have ever met. What you did to me was vicious. Not only did you use one of the hardest parts of my life against me, but you also tried to have me arrested for murder.
Well, you see, I wasn't the only person that suspected you at the time. Other people thought you could be a
No,
murderer,
no, no,
too.
Lucy! You did it because you're mean. You did it out of the neurotic desire to keep Scott and Serena to yourself. I wish that I had never helped come up with an antidote to save your pathetic life.
Nurse Hartman, 4737. Nurse Donna Hartman, 4737. Dr. Mullins, orthopedics. Dr. Christopher Mullins to orthopedics. Dr. Smith, 5017. Dr. Don Smith, 5017.
Hey, I think you are actually more beautiful every time I see you.
Did you see Lark?
She doesn't want to stay at the juvenile center.
Well, tough. What did she say when you told her you were tired of bailing her out?
I decided to help her.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but after she trashed your house and took off, I have a vivid memory of you saying you were through with her for good.
I made a commitment to this kid, and I feel an obligation to follow through.
What does that little tramp have on you that makes you jump through hoops for her?
Dr. Devlin, telephone?
Thank you.
This is Dr. Devlin.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Mullins, orthopedics. Dr. Christopher Mullins to orthopedics.
It's over. The DA dropped the charges. I'm free.
Congratulations.
Oh, it's about time, Julie.
Oh,
that's so great.
I can finally go back to concentrating on just being a doctor.
Me too. A plain old full-time doctor. No more research. I'm going to close down the lab and burn all my notes.
Absolutely, you should do that.
Wait, DL56 might not be the perfect cure-all yet, but it has the potential to be
Frank,
a
listen to
medical
me.
breakthrough.
The side effects of this drug over prolonged use are absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, Joe is right. DL56 alters brain chemistry. It turns our test subjects into homicidal maniacs.
Well, then why didn't it turn Freddy the Ferret into Freddy Krueger?
Because Fred's injuries weren't severe, so he didn't need multiple dosages.
Okay, only give it to the patients then that don't have severe injuries. You guys can't just walk away from this. You have to keep trying.
Listen, I'm trying to do it.
Hi.
What do you want?
It's Wednesday. I'm here to take Serena to her Ladybug troop meeting.
And you've already took her.
I'm supposed to do that. That's my little job. Is Eve just doing this to get back at me?
She took her because they're friends, okay? It has zip to do with you.
But you actually let that woman take Serena to the Ladybugs? That girl that...
Lucy, I don't want you to upset Serena because of some hatred you have for Eve.
I went to Eve just like you wanted me to do, and I apologized to her. Do you know what she said to me? She said she wished I was dead.
Well, that's because it was probably one of those phony apologies of yours. I mean, some of the ones that you've given me have been pretty bad.
I have never been phony with my apologies.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something right here, okay? Lucy, I want you to understand this. I don't want you to be bothering Eve and trying to push her away, and I don't want you to upset Serena. I don't want her used in any fashion. Otherwise, you will never see her again. Is that clear to you? Good. Goodbye.
So, Eve, you want to play it dirty? Oh boy, I will show you dirty.
Port Charles will be seen at a special time tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Don't miss it.